Hi everyone, my name's Lydia and I research the behaviorist F. Charles Mace, also known as Bud Mace. Mace received his PhD in school psychology and has contributed to the behavioral field for over 3 decades through research and practice. He has also held faculty positions at several prestigious universities, including Lehigh University and the University of Pennsylvania School of Medicine. Mace holds several professional accomplishments in our field. He has been granted the F.D. Hank Award for Distinguished Contributions to Basic and Applied Research for APA. He also received the Unicorn Children's Foundation Endowed Chair at Nova Southeastern University, where he served as the executive director of the Autism Institute at the university. His professional work also included being the editor-in-chief of the Journal of Applied Behavior Analysis, the editor of translational research for the Journal of Experimental Analysis of Behavior, and served as the president of the Society of Experimental Analysis of Behavior. With over 100 articles and chapters published relating to behavioral studies, Mace is the most highly cited researcher in behavioral psychology. He was ranked 6th among all applied behavior analysis and research productivity from 1992 to 2001. While he participated in research that involved lab animals, Mace focused on populations that included children and adults with emotional and developmental disabilities. He was the director of the Achieve Laboratory School for Children with Emotional Disabilities. He's best known for his research on the functional analysis of severe behavior disorders, behavioral momentum, and the matching law in humans. So some common elements you found in his literature: Mace focused on functional analysis and behavioral momentum through all of his experiences. These typically involved small case studies involving individuals in a school or residential setting. Behavior studied included aggression, severe self-injurious behaviors, and harmful sexual behaviors. Several articles I found included the Achieve program, which includes a point and level system for decreasing severe maladaptive behaviors. So in the next several slides, I'm going to review some of the studies Mace and his colleagues conducted and how they interpreted each of the results. Each student in this Achieve program started at a level 1, and the goal was to work your way to level 5 over the next few months. So it's a point and level system for reducing severe problem behavior. As they mastered each level, they would move to higher levels and have their reinforcement thinned while having more privileges in the community, and the reinforcers would have greater value. These individuals also earned reinforcers through a point system, where if they engage in targeted pro-social skills, they earned points that could be redeemed as reinforcers every day. Through the correlational analysis, Mace and his colleagues observed an increase in the level status correlating with a decrease in problem behavior for 8 out of 9 boys. The study concluded how incorporating both systems of the points and level system can be beneficial for behavioral momentum and decreasing maladaptive behaviors. The next study found is a multi-component behavioral intervention reducing harmful sexual behaviors in a 17-year-old male with autism spectrum disorder. This also included the Achieve program. Mace and his colleagues identified that the individual with intellectual or other developmental disabilities don't always fully understand the social norms around their sexuality, and their sexual behavior can escalate in severity if left untreated. So the individual's harmful sexual behavior was defined as sexual touching, gestures, comments, and threats. The treatment program was made up of the Achieve program, active support, CBT, SRE, an offense-specific intervention, and a behavior contingency contract added at the 66th week. This case study concluded that through multiple behavior interventions, harmful sexual behavior decreased and pro-social behavior increased. So with the focus on behavioral momentum, Mace and his colleagues studied methods to establish stimulus control and compliance with instructions. This case evaluated an intervention used to establish compliance through instructions in 2 to 3-year-olds with autism who had low levels of compliance. The target behavior in the study was compliance with both low probability and high probability instructions. So the therapist would wait for a pause in the child's activity and said the child's name during the pause with food in the hand, food being the high reinforcer. As the child was about to take the food, the therapist would give the instruction, "Take it," which is the high probability instruction. After compliance was maintained with the high probability, low probability instructions were introduced. Food reinforcers then faded as enthusiastic praise continued. After just one session of intervention, compliance increased to 50% or above, and further increased after the second session with 80% or above. This study illustrates how behavioral momentum through working with high probability behavior can achieve a compliance through low probability behavior. So Mace didn't just study individuals with emotional and developmental needs, he also studied the staff who worked with these kinds of people. One case involved training staff to avoid problem behavior relating to restricting access of preferred activities. One reason for a client's relapse is due to the staff's ineffective training to prevent problem behavior. A common motivating operation for problem behavior to occur is denying or restricting access to the client's preferred activities or items. So the training program uses cards and role play training based on the behavioral episodes that the staff has seen in the past, and also on specific research. So prior to the training regarding restricted access, the staff typically responded with distracting the client and giving the client an alternative choice or saying yes to and providing contingency was very low and rarely seen. So after training, the roles reversed. Giving a client an alternative choice or saying yes with providing a contingency was high after the training, while distracting the client decreased. After the training, there was also a significant decrease in the training group's incidences per month, whereas the control group's incidences did not change. Charles Mace has influenced how physicians approach severe behaviors through the years of experimental and applied analysis. He emphasized the importance and the magnitude of reinforcers being used and the learner's establishing operation for successive behavioral outcome. Mace has provided the field extensive research on aggressive and self-injurious behaviors that are harder to target and extinguish so we can better understand and define the function of these behaviors. Because of Mace's studies, behavioral analysts now have enhanced ability to gain compliance from learners through behavioral momentum and a better understanding of the learner's functions of behavior. Some questions I would have for Mace if I were ever to meet him. How did you find yourself in the field of behavioral psychology? And how did this field stand out to you compared to other fields of psychology? What would you say is your greatest accomplishment in your experimental research that was successfully applied to how we implement ABA today? What population of individuals did you enjoy working with the most and why? What behavioral researcher influenced you in your studies? And what do you hope for the future of ABA and experimental analysis? Through his findings, I and other behaviorists are more confident in conducting our functional assessment with the client in order to thoroughly identify the functions of behavior. Mace has provided the field with extensive research on aggressive and self-injurious behaviors, and we as behavioral analysts now have a better ability to gain compliance from learners through behavioral momentum and understanding the functions of these behaviors. I hope you all enjoyed learning about Charles Mace, his findings, and hopefully learned more about ABA interventions.